Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Thank you for taking a look at my channel. I'm Peter and you're watching Deaf Gowing Camping. Um, Stacy face. Uh, Little puppy. I got some motivation today for the first time in a while. And took all the carpet out of the boat and cleaned it off. Did some cleaning out around the yacht. Still got a lot I gotta do to get it back up, to snuff. But it's just been kind of hard finding the motivation to do it. With Katie being in the hospital. But I got that done, so I got a little sense of accomplishment. So I'm going to try to get some more done tomorrow. I haven't been able to talk to Katie this weekend. Her parents needed to get something off her phone. And honestly, I don't like going in there to visit right now because you have to completely gown up, put a gown on, glove up. I'm not allowed to kiss her. I'm not allowed to hug her. Everybody's wearing a mask and I can't hear anybody. It's I just don't like. I don't like doing it. I don't deal well with hospitals in the first place for a whole bunch of different reasons. Gonna kind of get into that a little bit today. But I'm gonna go see her tomorrow. She's supposed to get her phone back tomorrow, so hopefully I'll see her and be able to visit with her parents also. I've noticed in my videos that I grunt a lot. And I cough a lot. The coughing, it's a smoker's cough. One of the stupidest things I ever did. Tried my first cigarette when I was about 10 years old at a friend's house down the street. We grabbed a pack of smokes from his dad, and I won't say who else was there, but we stole cigarettes, and not only did I get sicker than shit, my mom also whooped my ass. But I'm very intelligent, but sometimes I'm stupid, and I make stupid decisions, just like we all do. I started smoking when I was 13 years old. If I could go back in time and smack my younger self, I definitely would. It's the worst worst mistake I ever made in my life. The problem with me is I actually like it. I enjoy smoking a cigarette. But I know what it's doing to my body. Um, at this point, I've been smoking for more than um, 3/4 of my life. Um, with Before Katie went into the hospital, actually on my birthday back in May, both Katie and I started cutting back because I actually thought about it and went, okay, I've been smoking for 3/4 of my life. I've smoked longer than I didn't. And, you know, that's just stupid. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that. So both of us started cutting back. Um, one of my issues with smoking is not only the habit. Um, it's I smoke when I get stressed out. Um, so, needless to say, for the last almost 2 months, I've been really freaking stressed out. Um, we were down to about 5 cigarettes a day between us. Um, one pack of cigarettes would last us 2 days. So, 20 cigarettes divided by 2 is 10. Divided by 2 people, that's 5. So we're down to about 5 a day. But when Katie went into the hospital, I shot right back up to a pack a day. And I've been trying to cut back on it. I'm back down to little puppy. I'm back down to about 8 or 9 a day. I've been cutting back. I know it sounds gross, but I've been cutting back by only smoking about a third of it, and then putting it out, and then smoking another third and putting it out. But that's what we were doing before Katie went into the hospital. Katie is no longer a smoker. Obviously, you can't smoke in the hospital, and I don't want to be the reason for her to start smoking again. So I have to quit, and I'm working on it right now. I'm just trying to cut back, but I know I'm going to have at one point have to just go cold turkey and get a patch or some gum or something. So that's the reason for the cough. I'm not sick, it's a smoker's cough. Um, I've also noticed, you little cutie, come here. Hey, my little puppy. I've also noticed that watching my own videos, I've lost a lot of weight. That's been since Katie's been in the hospital. I just don't have much of an appetite. I mean, nothing really sounds good. I kind of have to force myself to eat every day, and then I just kind of snack. Um, uh, yeah, I eat at least one meal a day, but yeah, and snack on peanuts and beef jerky and chips and stuff like that throughout the day. But I just, I haven't been sleeping much either. That's why I got these bags under my eyes. I think that's because I don't have Katie next to me. Um, I find myself waking up throughout the night, every night, all night, on her side of the bed, because I'm so used to sleeping next to her. She complains about it. She says I come in like with my butt, just like BAM! Just like come in all hot and next to her, but I apologize for it all the time, but what can I say? I'm asleep, and I like being up against my wife. And for the grunting, that's I've had a lot of pretty serious injuries in my life. Probably the worst one was my back. I had a pretty hard fall, carrying a granite countertop. It landed on my hip, and I just kind of went straight back, straight legged, so all the weight of the granite kind of landed right on my leg and on my spine. Hurt myself pretty bad. I blew out 3 discs. Ended up having surgery and a clamp put in my back. They could only do surgery on one of the discs, and the surgery that they did that on, that disc was rubbing up against the nerve for about 2 years, I think it was. So I have permanent nerve damage, so I live with constant, never-ending pain. I took a comprehensive pain management and physical therapy course to help me learn how to deal with it and how to manage it. I'm really glad that I took that course. Kind of changed my life. I'm looking at myself on the camera, but I notice it doesn't look like I'm looking at the camera. But if I don't look at myself on the camera, I'm probably going to misspeak. Sorry. Boop. Repeat. But that course kind of changed my life. And I'm really glad I stuck with it. It taught me a lot. It was pain management, physical therapy, and mental therapy, and that was probably the biggest help for me. And it didn't even come from the psychologist or whatever it was. It was actually from the physical therapist. Uh, I was ready to quit the class. Um, I'm sitting in Katie's spot. This feels kind of unnatural. Uh, but I was about to quit the class, um, and the hands-on physical therapist. I don't remember his name right now, and I don't want to sit here and try to think of it. Uh, but he said something, and it was a group therapy, so everybody else is in there. He said something that made me stop and think. And that changed me. Uh, so, yeah, everybody that was in that class were all just like me, just regular people, that got hurt at work. There were a couple that came through that didn't last long, that were just trying to scam the workers' comp system. Ready? You want this? You want this? This? Oh, yeah. What are you? And so they didn't last very long. But the people that were in the class with me, we actually all became kind of friends while we were there. We didn't exchange telephone numbers or anything like that, but we all were in the same situation, and we all felt comfortable with each other and sharing our stories with each other, because we all understood what each other were going through, even though our injuries might be different. So the physical therapist, he asked a question. Kind of a simple question. How many of you are in pain? Everybody raises their hand. How many of you are angry? And everybody raises their hand. And then he said the part that got me thinking and changed my mindset. You're not your pain. You don't have to be angry. You're just in pain. I think for everybody out there, you can relate to that. You have a headache for 2 days, you get like mad, And that got me thinking, I've really been a miserable prick for a while. I mean, I was always in pain, and that was my life. I couldn't walk right. Taking that class also got me walking normal again. For almost 2 years before I had the surgery, I couldn't even stand up straight. I was always hunched over, even when I was sitting down. I was always leaning on something to take the support off of my back. Uh, it was a really tough time to go through. And I finally got approved for surgery after hiring attorneys and everything. And I got this surgery, and for the first time in 2 years, I was able to stand up straight. I was still in pain, but I was able to stand up straight. I can't tell you how good that felt. Uh, but I had a lot of issues with my leg from the nerve pain, so I didn't walk normally anymore, and I had to use a cane. At first, I actually had to use a walker, but some freaking douchebag stole it out of the back of my pickup. I'm grocery shopping because I could use the grocery shopping cart to lean on. I mean, seriously, what a douchebag. A special spot in hell for people like you. So I got the surgery, and my surgeon came in to see me after the surgery, and he told me, wow, you really fucked yourself up. He actually said those exact words. He ended up repairing 2 ligaments in my back, or were ligaments, or what's the other one? I think they were ligaments, whatever it is. 2 muscle joining things. I forget what they're called. Tendons. So either ligaments or tendons in my back. And that was the reason why I couldn't stand up straight, because they were detached from each other. So that was fixed. Still have the pain. That's one of the reasons why I do a lot of grunting. When I move, a lot of the time, especially like standing up or bending over or hunching over, it's just I get a sharp. It's like a shot of lightning down my foot, and it's I guess it's a tick or whatever, but it's involuntary for me. I don't even hear it. I didn't know I was doing it until I was watching the videos. I've had other pretty serious injuries throughout my life. I've been hit by cars, car accidents. I actually got hit by an ambulance on my motorcycle. It happened. I didn't get hurt, and I didn't need the ambulance, but they already had a passenger. And I didn't have my motorcycle license, and the bike started back up, so, yeah. Cub Scout, Pete's out. Falling out of trees, crashing on motorcycles, crashing on my bicycles, a lifetime of working construction has kind of worn out my body a lot, and it's accelerated since my back surgery. I've noticed as I get older that all those old injuries hurt a lot, especially when it's cold. Sometimes it's hard to deal with all the pains and the aches. I'm gonna need to have my hip replaced at one point, my right hip. Uh, I had a bone infection uh, when I was a kid in my hip that landed me in the hospital and in a wheelchair for I think about 3 months, if I remember right. I was really young. I think maybe about 6 or 7, something like that, 8 maybe. It's funny though, because my mom thought I was trying to play sick and to get out of going to school. I can't blame her. It's something, she had 3 kids, and it's something that, yeah, we all tried to pull off on an occasion or two. You know, you didn't study for the test or something like that, you know, so you want to skip it. Whoopity woo. So I told my mom that I couldn't walk, and she's telling me, shut your mouth, get dressed, you're going to school. And I seriously, I couldn't walk. I mean, just, I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk. The fuck you want me to do? I can't fucking walk. And she still thought I was faking it. So she whooped my ass. Okay. When I get an ass whooping from mom, you cry. But it's usually not because it hurts. You know, it's just because you're getting your ass whooped. You know, my mom's not a big woman. The fly swatter had a sting to it. That mom on the fly swatter. Man, that thing had some sting. The old, you know, fly swatter. So, you know, you cry from that, but this was a different cry because once she spanked me, it actually was jarring. And okay, it was physically painful, and at that point, she knew I wasn't messing around. And took me to the emergency room, and you know, did X-rays and tests and all that. So I got a lot of deterioration in the bone and arthritis now. And they told me, you know, way back then, I'm probably gonna have to have my hip replaced. I also fell off a roof once, working construction. It was raining out. This is like back in the early 90s. It was raining out, and I was working at a construction company. Did old bunch of just kind of general construction, windows, roofs, gutters, uh, just kind of general construction. And, you know, it's a slow time of the year, so I was put on the roofing team to go out and do emergency covers because we're having so it's probably like, I don't know, 90, 94, 95, something like that. But Sacramento was flooding. We were getting some pretty heavy rainstorms. But my boss had a policy of, if it's raining, you do not get on a wood shake roof. That was the policy. That was from the owner. I showed up to work that day and it was dumping out. I showed up assuming I was going to be told to go home. But my direct supervisor told me and my partner that we were working that day, which I don't mind working on the ranch, not that big of a deal. Yeah, I didn't have hearing aids in, so I didn't have to worry about anything back then. But it gave us the list of the houses that he said had to be done today, like threatening us. Well, towards the end of the day, our last stop on West Court and Citrus Heights, I remember the house. We pulled up to the house and it's a wood shake roof. And we had CBs in the work truck, so we get on there and guy's name was Rick. No, Dennis. Get on the phone with, or on the CB with him, and we're like, hey dude, it's a wood shake roof. Tim said not to go up on a wood shake roof when it's raining. And he was like, I don't care. You guys are getting that job done. You know how much money we're making off of these emergency repairs? Get it done. Alright, I mean, you know, I was young, I was stupid. I didn't tell him to freaking suck it like I should have. But me and my partner and Jim get out the ladders, and it's a 2-level house, so there's, at the house side is 2-story, and out the garage and kitchen side is a 1-story, but they're like equal amount of gutter space, so equal amount of tarp space, so he can work on the second floor, and I can work on the first floor. So I help him get set up on his ladder. Get all the gear up onto the roof with lines and everything. First thing you do is you set an anchor and attach your safety line. So he got that done. And he got up there and started to do what we were told to do. And I had to set up on my side on their 1-story by myself. Knock it off, you little booger. Gremlin. He's a good little puppy. And cutie pie. So I have to pull up my bucket that's got my safety harness in it. So I got to climb the ladder with the rope and then get up on the roof, and I got to pull my bucket up by myself. Well, as I pulled the bucket up, and just as I got the bucket before I could attach my safety line, as I get the bucket and I turn to set it on the roof against the ladder so it doesn't slide off the roof, my feet go right out from under me. I hit my head on the gutter, thank God. Got a little cut, nothing too bad. I didn't need stitches or anything. Just, bleed a little bit, whatever. Head wounds bleed a lot, by the way, so you always think you need stitches, but you don't always do. So by hitting my head on the gutter, that kind of forced my body to go back forward, and I wasn't able to catch myself, and I landed in such a way that, I really, really, really hurt my knee. I thought I broke my leg, and I couldn't help but scream out in pain. And my partner Jim, he heard, because when I fell, the bucket, the ladder, everything came down with me. So he heard that, so he comes hurrying over the roof to see what happened from his side up there, and he slips down the roof and he falls off, and his line snaps when he's like 5 feet away from the ground. No, maybe like 3 feet away from the ground, because he was able to get himself off, but it just snapped, and it just snapped his back. Didn't break his back, but it hurt him, and I was hurt. He was hurt less. He was able to drive. I couldn't drive the truck, which was normally what I did. I couldn't drive the truck because it was my left knee, and it was a manual transmission. And we both ended up going to the hospital. Dennis got fired. But we were both out of work for a while. I think I was out of work for like 3 months. I've never broken a bone, even though I've been hit by cars and fallen out of trees. I've been hit with baseball bats, 2x4s, cracked my sternum once, getting hit by a 2x4, but I didn't break it. I definitely feel that every now and again. I had a car fall on my head. As hot as that sounds. I was working on my mom's old Chevy Impala, replacing the starter. And the only jack that we had in the garage was for a Toyota, but it was, a scissor jack. So I used that, and I'm just crawling underneath with the box. I'm on my stomach with the box and the tools I'm gonna need to get set up, and then I'll turn over and start working. And as I'm crawling up underneath the car, I see the jack start to go like that. And I try to move out as quick as I could. I wish I would have been on a crawler or a creeper, whatever they call them. But that's Jack gave out. One of the frame rails smacks me in the back of the head and then slams my face into the ground. Luckily, my sister lived around the corner. I mean, I got a pretty good gash in the back of my head. I think I ended up with like 10 stitches back there. My mouth was bleeding, my nose was bleeding, my eye was bleeding. I got a little cut over my eye. My sister lived around the corner, so I called her up, and she came down and took me to the hospital. Yeah, I went outside, cleaned up my face and everything before she got there. But I couldn't stop the bleeding on the back of my head before I called her. It was like, yeah, I can't see it, but I'm sticking my finger in it, so probably need to go. I've been stabbed on 3 different occasions. One in my arm. Wrong arm. Oh, over there. One right here. That was just stitches. Bone actually stopped the blade from going deeper. Another one just over here. Right there. And again, the bone stopped the blade from going any deeper. And then the worst one was that one there. And I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but that's actually where I got stabbed, right there. And that's the scar from the surgery. I was never the same after that. Before that one happened, I was an athlete. I rode my bike, basketball, football, wrestling. But I really never fully recovered from that. Having your abdomen ripped open, you're not going to be the same. You're just not. I used to have a really nice physique, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, I was never going to be a model. I see myself on the camera. I know what I look like. Yeah, just a lifelong full of injuries. I've had more stitches than anybody I know, and you don't really think about that kind of thing when you're a kid. When you know, safety equipment and gloves and personal protection gear. You just don't think of stuff like that when you're young, man. I'll get a cut, whatever, get a couple of stitches, whatever. But when you get over, it's cold out and that shit starts hurting, man. And it covers your body. It's, yeah, it's something to think about for all you youngsters out there. You know, wearing bike helmets so you don't end up with scars like this. That actually wasn't from a biking accident, but that guy right there. I was a kid. I'm the youngest of 3 of my family. But I've also got a kind of a servant's heart. I like to help whenever I can. So anytime I was allowed to carry the dinner tray to the table, I would try to be the one to be able to do it. But you know, I think I was probably like 8 or something. I don't remember. A young kid. So you know, you're trying to focus on carrying the tray. You don't want to spill the drinks. You know, this is a big responsibility for a young man. So I'm paying attention to the tray and not to where I'm walking. And this is back in the 80s. And, you know, when they used to like duct tape extension cords down on the ground. Like going through the restaurant. So I actually ended up tripping on the extension cord and smacked my head into a table. It was the first concussion I ever got. I remember waking up in the back of the station wagon, barely able to see because the blood's running through my eyes, but my sister's leaning over the back seat over me. It was right around the corner from the hospital. My sister's leaning over me singing "You Are My Sunshine" to keep me focused because I was unconscious, so she was trying to keep me conscious. So she's back there, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." Even though I might have got hurt, not every story that involves pain has to bring any anger. As you can see, I'm smiling. I'm sorry guys, I've just been rambling on here for a while. This is the longest video I've ever done, and I doubt anybody's gonna watch the whole thing, so I'm gonna cut it here. Thanks for watching. If you like stuff like this, please hit the like button, subscribe, the notification bell, and please comment below. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.